Our next and last speaker for the day is Amber, who is a multi-award-winning international business person, a keynote speaker, and the founder of the Pathwayz Group. Amber, please take the stage.
Hello, everyone. All right. So, let me tell you what we're not going to do. Give me 2 thumbs up. I know we're having a good day. 2 thumbs up. All right, 2 thumbs up sound good. We're not going to do 2 thumbs up. Put those away. Let's see here. 2 pointer fingers. It's impolite to point. We're not going to do any pointer fingers. Put those away. No double pointer fingers today. Last thing we're not going to do today, let's see, some gum pistols. This is a gun-free zone. No pistols here today. Put those away. No pistols. This is what I do want you to do. Give me 1 pointer finger, give me 1 thumbs up. 1 pointer finger, 1 thumbs up. All right, on the count of 3, I want you to switch. 1, 2, 3. And switch again. Switch. Switch, 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 switch. Hey, I'm seeing some people over here. You got it. All right, all right. Keep on trying. We're almost there. All right. Heard some people say, I can't do that. You know, whenever I was first shown this challenge, it was pretty challenging to me too. I had to take it really slow. It didn't feel natural. It was pretty challenging. I had to take it slow and focus on each movement. I had to focus on each motion. And the more that I did it, the easier it became. Now I can do it pretty fast. All right, let me give you one more. Give you one more. All right, this time you can use finger pistols. They're allowed. We'll allow it for this time. And then second, I want you to do the number 4. All right, on the count of 3, we're going to switch. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I messed up. Switch. 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 For the rest of this talk, that's all of you are, some of you are going to be doing, is your finger pistol and your thumbs up. You know, sometimes whenever we talk about change, it can be uncomfortable. It can be challenging. You might even say, I can't do that. I challenge you to add the word yet to the end of that sentence. See, I couldn't do this the first time that I did it. Then I said, I can't do this yet. Let me keep on practicing, keep on putting this into action. Now I'm able to do it pretty quickly. My name is Amber Vanderburg, as stated before, and I am the founder of the Pathwayz Group. We are a global leadership development organization. We work with teams around the world, and this is a unique opportunity that we have found ourselves in this season of the world. There is a greater demand than ever before for agility in organizations. A greater demand for adaptability in leadership, a greater demand for strategic change. In addition to this, we're also seeing an increase in job transitions, in retirements, in furloughs, in the opportunity for you to lead change in a team that probably has newer team members. You yourself may be the new team member in your organization. And so it begs the question, how do we lead change in a team that we have just met? How do we lead change in an organization that we are still getting to know? How do we lead change in a culture that we are still learning? Whenever I think of these questions, I'm reminded of several years ago, before I worked in leadership development, I was a football coach. In fact, I was the only female, the only American, and the only blonde academy football coach or soccer coach for the Adidas Game Day Academy and Paris Saint-Germain, or PSG Academy, in Bangalore, India. I coached about a dozen teams, mostly boys with a few girls, ages 6 to about 16. And as I joined the academies, we had the opportunity to enact powerful change in our academy, in the industry, and to truly change the game in India. So, where do we begin? We began by saying, hello. I had a lot to learn whenever I joined the academy, a lot of people to meet, a lot to learn about the culture, about the organization. And this is an opportunity for you to practice saying hello and building relationships right here. Today and tomorrow is your opportunity to practice getting to know people and having these conversations. Now, this is a nice idea. We're actually going to put it in practice right now. So I'm going to give you, hold on, I don't have my watch. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. We're gonna see who the master meter is here today. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds to meet as many people as you can. Keep track of how many hands you shake, how many people you meet. If you don't want to shake hands, we can also do fist bumps or foot fives, all right? Count track of how many people you meet. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Everyone stand up. How many people can you meet? Ready, on your mark, get set, go. Hello. Nice to meet you. All right. 5 seconds, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop meeting people. No more people. Stop meeting people. Keep this number in your head. Keep this number in your head. Stop meeting people. All right, we're going to come back to this number in just a moment. I have a second round for you. This time, on this bottom row, there are 3 people that have a flower pinned to their lapel. 3 people that have a flower pinned to their lapel. At the top, there is 1 person that has a flower pinned to their lapel. This time, I want you to still meet people, but I want you to try and find the person that has a flower pinned to their clothing. If you find that person, do not be a spoiled sport and shout it out for everyone. Keep it to yourself. We will reveal who the 3 people down here and the 1 person up there is in just a moment. Okay, are you ready? We'll see who can find our flower people. All right, give you 20 seconds. Ready? Go. Still meet people. Try and find the person with the flower on their lapel. Keep it to yourself if you find the person. 5 seconds, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. Okay, if you found the person with the flower on their lapel, keep it to yourself. All right, this is our 3rd and final round. Last time for you to stand up. This time, I want you to greet someone as if you are reuniting with a long-lost friend. For some of us, we haven't seen each other in a while. I want you to greet someone as if you are reuniting with a long-lost friend. Ready? Go. Seconds, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I am so glad that you got to reunite with your long-lost friends. Fantastic. You all may have a seat. Thank you so much. Okay. What was our first challenge? Meet as many people as you can. Okay, we're going to see who the master meter is here. If you met 10 or more people, raise your hand. All right. 12. Wow, did 12? All right, I'm seeing one more. 13. All right, we have the winner, master meter. Well done. Come see me afterwards. I can give you a copy of my book as a prize. All right. So tell me, so the goal was to meet as many people as you could. What did this look like as you were meeting different people? A rush. Say that again? Don't remember the names, yes. Don't remember the names. 13 people is a lot. I only gave you like 30 seconds. Oh, 3 names. 3 names out of 13 people. Not our best retention rates, but yeah, you met quite a few. We see this happening whenever we come to events like this. We see this happening whenever we come into new teams. We know that we need to meet people. And so it might look a little something like this. And we go, hello, 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 hi, 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 hi. Okay, let's move on. And sure, we've met a lot of people, but we haven't truly connected with any of them. This looked a little bit different than the second challenge. What was the second challenge? The flower. Now is the time for the big reveal. So my 3 people at the bottom, 1 person at the top, with the flower pinned to your lapel, please stand up. I am a dirty, rotten scoundrel. There is nobody here with a flower pinned to their lapel. How did this look different from the first challenge? How did you approach this differently? Say it again. Paid more attention. Yes. Say that again. You didn't look into the eyes. You were just looking at their clothes. I saw several of you not even meet anyone. You stood up here and were searching for people this way. Sometimes we see this whenever we come into organizations. We may see this in an event like this, where we need a front-end developer. So we go, hi, do you do front-end development? No? Okay, moving on. Hi, do you do full stack? Nope. Okay, moving on, right? Do you do Java? Okay, nope, we need typo 3, right? So we're looking for the person who serves our specific needs and not truly seeing people for the value that they can bring. Not truly seeing people for the value that they have. How did this differ from the third challenge? What was the goal in the third challenge? Greet someone, long lost friend. I saw several of you didn't meet as many people, probably did not greet 13 long lost friends. But we spoke to people a little bit longer. Yeah, exactly. I love what you said, seeing people in the eyes. The difference between managing change and leading change is relationships. Whenever we are meeting our teams, we're seeing people not just for a handshake, not just for the value they bring, not just for the specific problem that they can help us solve, but for the true value that they can bring. At some point within our society, I even saw this last night. I was at a dinner. We begin our conversations with these 3 questions. What is your name? Where are you from? And what do you do? And then conversation begins to kind of end there. There may be people in your team that you know their name, where they're from, and what they do. And the knowledge may end there. I encourage you to ask some further questions. I'm going to push a little bit more. I want you to ask questions that can specifically help you adapt your leadership style in your team. So these questions could include preferences, pet peeves. It could include strengths that they really hope is somebody else's. It can include questions about personality, about challenges, ideas, opportunities. So there's some questions that we can ask to get to know the person so that we can adapt our leadership style, so we can help to meet people where they are. Change begins with knowing the people that you are leading change. Move away from this. As I was working with international football teams, keep in mind, there were times that I was coaching with an English coach in a Canadian international school for a French professional football academy in India as an American. That's a lot of cultures going on. We had a longer hello. Get to see what we needed to do to meet people exactly where they are. A lot of cross-cultural questions. Within this questioning, we had the opportunity to clarify our why. Now, starting with why is an idea that was popularized by Simon Sinek. For those of you who have not read the book Start With Why or watched the 12-minute YouTube video, allow me to save you 12 minutes. Simon Sinek tells us that many organizations understand what they do, but few understand why they do it. Organizations understand what they do, few understand why they do it. And so he challenges us to start at the heart of why we're doing what we're doing. Those of you may have come to this, see me a couple of years ago. We talked about the importance of asking the right questions, asking them in an open-ended way, knowing the difference between asking what is 5 plus 5 and what two numbers equal 10. It's going to impact the answers that you receive. Now, as we work with organizations around the globe, we find that many organizations have adapted the idea of starting with why. So we're starting with why, understanding why we're doing what we're doing. The goal, though, is not to end the conversation with why. Too often, organizations start the conversation with why, as you should do. Please hear me. Why lays the foundation for what you're doing moving forward. But why should not be the end of the conversation. It should be the beginning of a larger one. See, what we found is that your why and your what actually lay the framework for you to have some fun in the how. This how is where you have the opportunity to establish your competitive advantage, to be uniquely better. We work with a lot of higher education institutions. And what we find is that a lot of higher education institutions, so universities, have similar whys of equipping minds for the future, right? Equipping people for success in the future. Equipping people with the skills and the knowledge that they have to achieve their dreams, right? All of these are somewhat similar. We work with a lot of healthcare institutions. We find that most have a similar why of helping to cultivate a healthier well-being in the community, right? So it's going to be something similar to that. You have to wonder, if these organizations have similar whys, then why are all not equally successful? You have to start with why. That's going to lay your foundation. But we found that the approach and the how can be somewhat different. This is your opportunity to establish your competitive advantage. This is truly where 90% of your change conversations are going to happen. In the purpose of your change, there's generally 3 major purposes of change. These are going to be your 3 purposes of innovation within your team. And so that is to fix an existing product, process, or system. And so whenever you're fixing something, that conversation is going to be more of a causal analysis. The next is to improve an existing product, process, or system. This could be to establish your competitive advantage in the market. It could be to compete in the market, to adjust to consumer demand. And it's in these situations that your conversation will be more of value engineering. And then the third purpose is to create something new. So this is something that is not currently in your organization. It could also be something that is not currently in the market. Understand your purpose of change. Are we changing just because we need to change? Oh, we're changing with purpose. We have a clear idea of where we're going and what we are trying to achieve. I'll go back here for just a moment. It's within this moment, especially if you are a new leader or leading a new team, that we can also spend this time to adjust our priorities. There may be types of change that is important, but it is not urgent that it takes place right now, right? So this is a win that it may wait a couple of weeks. I need to get to understand what's going on a little bit more, right? There may be other things that take priority. This doesn't need to be my very first change project. This actually takes priority. Now, this is going to be different than a colleague of mine. He stepped into an organization that was weeks from declaring bankruptcy. The urgency that he had, very, very, very high, right? So his action needed to be taken very, very, very quickly. And so as you are identifying in your new team, we can fix this, we can improve this, this can be new, this can be fixed, right? You're probably coming up with that laundry list. In the same breath, you should also be prioritizing where those change initiatives lie. So we're going to have the purpose of our change. These are specific opportunities for ownership that you have to make a difference in your team. So it could be that you are improving an existing process or an existing system. It could be that you are fixing your methods of communication, your methods of coaching. It could be that you're creating a new project. So in this context, project is anything with a beginning and an end. So it could be an event, an initiative, a product, a project, right? So this is going to be something with a beginning and an end. And then lastly is your roles. Now your roles in this context could be the position. It could also be the role that you are playing as a team member, as a team, as an organization. Perhaps you are improving your role to be more customer focused, right? More strategic focused. So you're going to be adapting and changing these roles. This is a much more catered approach to change leadership. We're getting to know people first, know our people first, understand why the current system exists, right? Understanding why things are being done currently and the what, and then we're able to establish a clear framework so that we can have opportunities for ownership in the how. So we can fix, improve, and create something new within our processes, systems, methods, and roles. Now, this is a nice idea, right? This is a big theory. I feel like I've talked quite a bit. So let me give you a specific way of how you can use this concept in your teams right now. So I want you to think of a problem that you, or a change initiative that you would like to implement within your team. If you can't think of a change initiative that you would like to implement, I'd like you to think about how you can improve your employee engagement in your teams. So that's something everyone can think about. I want you to pull out a piece of paper, or you can pull out your phone and go to the notes section, and I want you to number 1 through 8. 1 through 8 on a piece of paper or on the notes section of your phone. If you're on a laptop, you can also do 1 through 8. I am going to give you 15 seconds per number to come up with a different idea to improve your employee engagement in your teams. Or if you have a specific challenge that you want to confront, you can do that as well. So I want you to come up with a possible solution to increase your employee engagement. It could be that you have a project of, let's say it is an initiative to show appreciation. You're going to do an employee of the month type thing, right? It could be you're going to alter the role, right? The roles that are being played within your team. Have more support. It could be that engagement is low because people don't have the resources that they need, or the processes that they currently are operating under are very inefficient, and it's causing a lot of frustration. Right? I want you to think of specific ways that you can help solve this challenge. Right? At the end of 15 seconds, I'm going to say next. You'll immediately go to the next line and come up with a different solution. At the end of about 2 minutes, you're going to have 8 different solutions. Okay, are we ready? Yes, okay, all right. On your mark, get set, go. 15 seconds. Okay, next line. What's a different solution? Okay, next line. What's another way that you can increase engagement? Okay, next line. All right, next line. You're on to that 5th line. This is where it can get a bit challenging. Okay, next line. You're on to that 7th line. Next line. And last line. Three, two, one. Okay. Let's see here. Give me some feedback. Fists to 5, 5 being, Amber, that was a pretty good experience. I could have come up with 2 or 3 more possible solutions. 0 being, Amber, that was the worst experience of my life. Don't ever make me do that again. Give me some feedback. How was that? Seeing some 4s, 3s, 2s, 4s, 5s. Okay, 5s. Love it. Okay, perfect. This is a simple way for you to come up with a lot of possible change solutions in a short amount of time. That took 2 minutes. And if you are doing this within your team, let's say you have a team of 5, you have 40 possible solutions right there. If you are in a global team, or if you're in a team that where there may not be one single predominant language, an alternative is I will put in boxes and have people draw possible solutions instead, so we can get a lot of ideas out as a possible alternative. This is a great way for people to come up with a lot of ideas and share these possible solutions. As the change leader, it is not your responsibility, it is not your job to come up with every single possible solution. It is your job to ask the right questions. In fact, we can increase our buy-in and our engagement if we aren't the person that's coming up with every single course of action. We're creating and fostering an environment where a lot of people can come up with solutions. So this is a quick tool. I like this because it only takes a couple of minutes, and it's a great way to first identify identify our why and our what, and then have this opportunity for ownership in the middle. Now, whenever you have so many new ideas, it can be easy to have paralysis by analysis and have a whole lot of ideas and not have a course of action. I was working with one team that this was crippling to the productivity of the team. And so we implemented the Elmo technique, which meant that we were going to time box conversation. This is time to identify the problem, time to come up with possible solutions, final remarks, and then Elmo, which stood for enough, let's move on. We're making a decision. We have to move forward. This team understood that the best decision is the right decision. The second best decision is the wrong decision. The worst decision is no decision. It's time to make a decision. Now, after you have decided this course of action, then it's important to communicate this to everyone involved. You're probably not going to have every decision maker, you're probably not going to have everyone that is impacted in the room at the same time. You are going to have our decision makers. So here's a quick way to communicate these ideas. The reason that we're here is this, our why. We're doing that through our what. We have an opportunity to, and then we're going to use our change purpose. We're going to improve, fix, create something new. And we're going to do that through one of these opportunities for ownership. This is a clear way to communicate the direction in which you are going. Now, you might be thinking, yes, we have our communication foundation. We have this framework. We're going to communicate these ideas clearly. But sometimes, whenever we leave meetings, I'm reminded of one of my favorite childhood stories, and that is Amelia Bedelia. Now, for those of you who have not yet had the opportunity to experience Amelia Bedelia, she is an enthusiastic, passionate housemaid. And so she goes to her first home. She's a hardworking individual. And the homeowners give her a list of what needs to happen by the end of the day. So she's told to do things like dust the furniture, to change out the towels, to dress the turkey to eat for dinner, to draw the drapes, right? So close the drapes. And so Amelia Bedelia goes to work. And first thing she does is she finds some powder for the face. And she goes, dusting powder. And she throws dusting powder all over the furniture. She goes and she gets out clothes and she puts it on the turkey to dress it for dinner. She gets out a pen and paper and she begins to draw the drapes. The homeowners come back and they find their house in complete disarray. Not because the homeowners didn't communicate and not because Amelia Bedelia is lazy or not wanting to work. In fact, both had the best of intentions, but there was a misunderstanding. You cannot over-communicate. I'll say that again. You cannot over-communicate. This is an opportunity for the homeowners to check for understanding, making sure where the gaps are in understanding, and meet people where they are. Now, these are some popular ways for you to come about change within your team. Going back to our teams that we had in India, this is the framework that we used. We spent time. Many times this is referred to in times of development, times of team development. It is a model by Bruce Tuckman, and he tells us that teams go through 5 stages. These are our 5 stages of change as well. We spent time forming. We practiced that here today. We spent time forming, getting to know people, forming together as a team. Then we went through the storming phase. This inevitably, you'll see a dip here in performance because we're taking the time to question what are we doing? Why are we here? How are we going to operate? What is going to be our course of action? It's in these opportunities that we have a chance to establish the norms that will catapult us to higher performance. And from there, we can move into an adjourning stage where we cut through the existing norms and re-enter that storming phase, and the cycle repeats over and over and over again. Now, oftentimes, whenever we are new leaders within a team, there is a temptation to want to skip over the first three parts and catapult into that performing stage first thing. In fact, sometimes we'll even see it on job descriptions. Must initiate change in the first 15, 30 days. I don't know what type of change we're looking for at this moment, but we'll see that in some job descriptions, right? I encourage you to embrace this forming, storming, norming process to catapult yourself into a performing stage. Now, keep in mind, I gave you an example earlier of a colleague of mine that came into a situation that was dire and change needed to be made right away. In that situation, he went through the forming, storming, norming phase very, very quickly. Right? He needed those small wins. Right? You needed those wins to make meaningful change. Whenever I was working with our football teams in India, this is exactly the process that we used so that we can enact powerful change. Now, this was important because, let's see here. Do it that way. This is important because this is an opportunity for us to establish our competitive advantage as a team. See, there's an idea called the economic convergence theory. Now, this theory states that as a whole, developing countries will develop at a faster rate than currently developed countries. Right, so developing countries can develop at a faster rate than current developed countries. This is for several reasons. One being that there is an opportunity to learn from what has already been developed. There's an opportunity to imitate what has already been done, learn from what has happened in the past. The thing about economic convergence theory is that it states that while developing countries can develop at a faster rate than current developed countries, they will not truly surpass the current developed countries unless, this is a big unless those developing countries make a shift, make a change. Why is that? Because our Indian football team will never be a better version of a French football team. They will never be a better version of an American football team, of an Australian football team, of a Hungarian football team. India can only be the best version of an Indian football team. They have so many values, so many skills, so much that they can offer to be uniquely better. And sometimes whenever we are brought in to enact change in our organizations, we know what has worked in the past. I worked quite a bit with American companies, with American teams. It wasn't going to work in India. We had an opportunity to create something new, to improve, to fix, to create something uniquely better with our teams in India, so that we could not just play in the game, but we could truly compete to win. And I know that the World Cup is going on right now, and India may not be in the Cup this year. I do believe that they are going to be in the Cup within my lifetime. And that's because we're taking steps to enact powerful change. And this is an opportunity that you have within your teams today to enact that powerful change to help teams be uniquely better. Now, I know that we have gone through a lot of new concepts, a lot of new ideas. You've had a lot of opportunities to gain new knowledge today. And sometimes whenever I think about all the possible action steps, all the knowledge, all the words that we've learned today, I'm reminded of one of my youngest teams that I coached. I had a player who was 6 years old. His name was Achinthia, and he was so excited for his first day of football. On his first day, he came running out onto the pitch, and he began yelling, "Pass, pass, pass!" Now, I noticed that Achinthia was yelling pass even whenever the other team had the ball. He was yelling pass whenever he was miles away from the action. Achinthia was yelling pass even whenever he had the ball. So then he was running with the ball going pass, pass, pass. And so I looked at Achinthia. I said, Achinthia, why are you yelling pass? He looked up at me and he said, Miss Ember, ma'am, I do not know what it means. I only know it is a football word. You know, sometimes I hear organizations sound a little bit like my friend Achinthia, yelling leadership, teamwork, communication, change, leadership, we got this, because we know that these are good words. They can lead to big goals, but if we're in the wrong position, if we're miles away from the action, or even if we have the ball and we don't know in which direction we're going, then saying these words are not only ineffective, they're actually detrimental to our overall communication as a team. Eventually, the team is going to tune you out, the way that they tuned out my friend Achinthia. But if we first take the time to get to know our team members, if we take the time to go through that forming stage, we understand our why and our what, we take the time to have purposeful change within our processes, our systems, our products, our projects, our roles, and our methods, then we'll be in a position to yell pass, to receive the ball, to move forward, and to score really big goals. I want to thank you all so much. Go forth and change your world. Okay?
Thank you, and we still have time for some Q&A.
Yes.
And we do have a few questions. How do you lead change based on relationships nowadays, when many people want to work from home and are reluctant to come to office and participate in person?
So, I love this question. So first off, a big hope that I have of that 8-box challenge that I gave you is that you were thinking of remote teams. This is your conversation topic for whenever we go outside. So first off, this is a conversation that we are continuously having. Whenever I said that you cannot over-communicate, that is a level up times 20 with remote teams. It is. With us specifically, we are a global remote team. And I will communicate change, and then have them repeat it back to me to the point where they just get sick of it, but they know why we're changing what we're changing. And so I did not communicate that way whenever I was with an in-person team. But it is something that you have to repeat over and over and over again to make sure that there is understanding. Ambiguity or vagueness in any situation is not good. If you have ambiguity in the midst of change, that can ignite fear, it can ignite panic. We're talking about retention these days. Your team needs to be very clear about why change is happening. And in addition to that, they need to feel included in these conversations. So the activity that I just gave, that's something you can absolutely do in a remote team as well.
Thank you. And I
Great
think
question.
Thank you. I think we have time for one more. And finally, a question with a name. How to drive beneficial changes when the organization when the organization say we need to deliver now and we cannot spare time and money on expensive changes.
So, hold on.
I'll show you.
When the organization say we need to deliver now and we cannot spare time and money on expensive changes. So I think the first thing is we have to make sure that that budget is communicated to the leaders of who's asking for that change. If there's someone from the top asking for something that you know is not in the budget, that's a mishap. So the leaders need to understand what they're asking. And so while that should be something that they're understanding, there may be an opportunity for you to say, okay, this is the scope of what you're asking to get it done in the manner that you're asking it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And I think one more.
Yeah.
Remote team, home office. What is your advice to a leader who is trying to establish a supportive company culture and trust within the team by barely meeting with each other?
So, excellent question. Trust is built through consistent action repeated over time. Say that again. Trust is built through consistent action repeated over time. And so with a remote team or an at-home team specifically, we find small opportunities, on a daily, on a weekly basis, where we're able to demonstrate that trust. So I'll give you a very, very small example that's made a lot of difference within our team. We have a practice within our team. Whenever we log in, you say hello to somebody, right? Doesn't even, we're acknowledging that other people are here in the office. Now, for some people, the conversation literally could be, this morning I had one, happy Monday, happy Monday. That was it. But it was an acknowledgement that, hey, you've shown up to work. Sometimes it does turn into longer conversations. But that's a small example of little things that you can do. This does not require, and I say this as we're a leadership team building organization, it does not require a full day team building day. Team building is not an activity. Trust is not an activity. It is a habit. And so what we do is actually go back to these opportunities for ownership. We look specifically at our systems, specifically at our methods of communication. We look at the projects. So we love the World Cup, so we're doing a World Cup project right now. We look at the roles that I'm playing as a leader. We look at the roles that other people are playing as coach, as supporter. We're looking specifically at what those look like in a habit form, so on a daily habit with the team to establish trust. So it's not a big thing. It's small, consistent actions. So I highly encourage you to look at your daily and weekly habits within the team that you can establish and you can encourage.
Thanks a lot, and thanks a lot for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.